Hello there and welcome back. My name is Elena.
And I'm Fotios, and this is the Game Court.
And today, it's another day for the Versus series.
It's been a while since we did an episode for the Versus series.
Yeah, I think we were just thinking of what we actually want to talk about, but then we were in the car today and it came to us.
So, to compensate for our lack of episodes in the Versus series, today we're not comparing one, neither two, we're comparing 3 games.
So today we're going to discuss about 3 games, and they're all published by
Flatout Games.
Flatout Games. Thank you very much. This is my trusty assistant whenever I cannot remember a name, but thank you very much.
I think I'm promoted now to the assistant to regional manager.
As I was saying, today we're going to talk about Cascadia, we're going to talk about Verdant, and we're going to talk about Calico. Because this is what we were talking about today. And because they're all published by the same publisher, I think it makes a lot of sense.
And they're similar games as well. All of them are tiling games.
Similar box size.
All of them have open drafting as well, implemented in different ways. So let's briefly discuss about each game a little bit.
I think it makes more sense.
Yes, so I will start with Calico, because it's also published first. Calico, you have your own individual board, which is nicely made, dual layer and everything, and within that you put the different hexes, which have different patterns and different colors. And you have 3 particular objectives on your board, you try to match particular patterns, do particular stuff, and by the way, having more of the same color, you get also some bonuses, but you also get cuts on your board by having particular patterns, not colors.
That they ask for,
exactly.
They ask for different
the
patterns.
Calico, exactly, aspect of the game. The drafting in Calico is only 3 tiles, and you select only one of the 3 tiles in your turn. Quite simple drafting, but the puzzliness comes from how you place this on your board, and how tight your board is, and how restrictive it is.
Going down to Verdant, and Verdant is my choice to describe because why not?
Yeah. Elena loves flowers, if you may not know.
Plants, they're called plants, not flowers.
Generally plants and flowers.
That's one behind me over here. Going down to Verdant.
Sorry, I have to mention that, okay. In this house we have a fight between where to place our board games versus where to place our plants. But I think we are good.
There's a bit of space for everybody.
We are good because, we want the darker room for the board games, because we don't want the boxes to fade colors, whereas we want the brighter rooms, for the plants. So everything works. So go for it.
Thank you, sir. May I proceed?
Yes, my trusty assistant.
Thank you. As I was saying, in Verdant, what you do is you have a room and you're trying to decorate it with plants, and you're trying to decorate it with other stuff like soft furnishing, stuff like cushions and throws and sofas and pets
and cats
and cats and dogs.
Yeah.
So that's what you technically do. You have a grid of 3x5 that you need to decorate with particular colors in a particular way. That is down to scoring. You have an area where you draft from, and I think this is where the difference comes. You have 4 tiles on the middle that you need to place onto the cards that you get. And you have cards up and down. The tiles represent the soft furnishing, the pets, the accessories per se. The cards up represent the plants, and the cards underneath represent the rooms themselves.
Yes.
So you have to match what the plant likes in the room that it likes, that offers more sun or shade. At one point you can upgrade your plants' pots, so you can buy them extra pots and stuff like that. And I think technically that's the game.
Yeah, and as you place your plants around rooms, you get also verdancy for the plants, and when you get the maximum verdancy, you get the points for that particular plant, which is kind of cool, I would say.
Also, throughout the game, you can collect some thumbs up, and they literally look like thumbs ups. And then you can exchange the thumbs up for extra actions. And one of the most important ones is that instead of selecting the tile and the card above or underneath, you can select a combination of them from whichever way you want.
Yeah.
I think that's the main idea.
Cascadia, on the other hand, is a bit more open, is again tile placement. I should mention that Verdant doesn't have tiles but has cards, but they act as tiles as you place them, right? Yeah. It's still tile placement, whereas Calico and Cascadia have hex tiles, and Cascadia you also have tiles which represent different
Terrains?
Terrain, thank you. And you
Anytime.
you have a selection of 4 tiles and 4 animals, and they come in pairs. So you have to select that pair of terrain and animal, or you can break these pairs by spending the pine cones
that you get again throughout the game, isn't it?
and then you place your different terrains so that you can make a particular terrain as big as possible, but also place the animals on particular terrains that they want to in a particular way, because the score in very particular, this is the 5th time I say particular.
Maybe Cascadia might be particular.
So yeah, every game you draft basically how the animals will score, so how the orientations of the salmons they need to be, or the foxes, or the bears, and so on and so forth. So you have to place the animals carefully around the different terrains to score as many points as possible.
Well, let's go to similarities.
Similarities.
First similarity would probably be all the games are made by the same publisher.
Oh, yes.
And whether they have a team or not, again, I'm not entirely sure what the designers' names are, but it feels like it's from the same team of designers, because all games, they have all the similarities throughout. And I think the main similarity is this.
Okay. There are 2 similarities as well, other similarities, which come from the mechanics of the games. One of them is tile placement. In all of the games you have the tile placement, you have to place them in particular manner to get the most points. And also the drafting is a similarity, and open drafting exists in all 3 games in different amounts of complexity, but open drafting is there.
Another similarity I would say, which is not exactly the same in every game, but is the puzzle aspect of of all 3 games. All of them have a puzzle aspect where you have to match a pattern with a color in a particular way, otherwise it does not fit or it does not score. And whether it's with tiles or with cards, all of them have this element of a tile or a card and an extra element on top.
Let me expand on that, because it's a nice similarity. I like the similarity. I think the games are suitable for, if you wish, newer gamers, but also if you are a more seasoned gamer, you still have fun playing the games, because it gives you this, as you said, the puzzly element, how you're going to place all your tiles around the perfect way to get most of the scores. But at the same time, these games offer a quite low threshold of rules, if you wish, and people can get into these games quite easily. And of course, we couldn't not talk about Calico and Verdant and the cats without having also our own cat here.
Oh, well, I think he's just a bit hungry. He's trying to be persuasive now. But this is Fred. You already know Fred. One more similarity, and I think we should be done with the similarities. There is this common aspect of coziness and nature and animals throughout all 3 games. Although in Calico is not as pronounced, because it normally just has cats.
Yeah, but
Calico cats.
The coziness though is pronounced.
It has the coziness. Verdant has the plants and the animals, and Cascadia has plenty of animals.
And nature.
So,
That's a similarity.
Well pointed.
Yeah. Shall we go to differences a little bit?
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I will start with one difference, and despite all games have drafting, the drafting is different from game to game, I would say. So in Calico, you only have to select 1 out of 3 hex tiles, very simple drafting, and you cannot really change anything. You cannot really refresh the options or anything like that. If you don't like them,
that's it.
Bad luck. In Cascadia, you have 4 pairs, like 4 tiles and 4 animals you can choose from. And as we said already earlier, you can break the pairs by spending a pine cone. Now in Verdant, it gives you the more freedom when it comes to choices. You have 8 basic choices, like a room plus decoration or a plant plus decoration, and then you can also break these pairs by spending the thumbs up as well. So I think Verdant gives you the most options when it comes to drafting.
Talking about differences, although it might be that they feel very similar, I feel that the games are very different complexity-wise. But I think that I think we might disagree a little here, but I think Calico is definitely the hardest one.
Yes.
And that's because the puzzle is quite tight and the options are quite little.
Yes, with that I agree, yes.
It's actually very hard to make the complete puzzle. I would technically say Cascadia might be my second option
When it comes to complexity?
when it comes to complexity.
So the middle one.
So the middle one is Cascadia.
Okay.
And I would put Verdant as the last because I feel that the tableau is generous to build your room, and I feel that the action selection, the cards and all the tiles are quite plenty, and you have ways of exchanging them. So I feel that from that perspective, you have more opportunities to build your house.
I agree that the games are of different complexity and different depth, if you wish, but I would say for me the order is a bit different. For me, the lightest one is Cascadia, and that's because it gives you a bit more open, like you're not restrictive within your tableau as in Calico or within the 3x5 columns and rows as in Verdant. You can open your world as much as you wish, so you're not restrictive in any way when it comes to that. I will put in the middle one the Verdant. Yes, it gives you the more options for drafting, I would give you that, but still you are restricted when it comes to how you build it, right? And for me, Calico, as with you, is the most complex one. Is, let's say, the more gamers of these three games. Another difference is when it comes to the player count, whereas Calico and Cascadia are 1 to 4 players. Verdant, the last one of the series, has gone from 1 to 5. Equally, I'm not sure if I would play it with 5, to be honest with you.
It just drags a little bit too long, too much, isn't it?
But at least it gives you the option to play with 5 players, which is fine. Right, so how would you order the 3 games? Like, which one is the worst for you, going towards the best, obviously?
I think I would have liked very much to put Calico on the first place, but I was quite disappointed with the inside of the box. And when I say the inside of the box, I mean on the outside there is a gorgeous Calico cat. It's actually a ginger cat. It's a ginger cat, isn't it?
It's a ginger cat, not a Calico cat.
It's not a Calico cat. And then you open the box and then you realize there are not that many cats in the game. Yes. And that was a little bit disappointing because obviously cats are beautiful. I like the way it plays very much, but I think I prefer Verdant.
But Verdant, there are even less cats over there.
Not really, they have dogs as well, and dogs are awesome too. Pets are awesome. They have fish. I think they have parrots as well, and they have everything in there. So I'm happy with that.
So Verdant
Plus, they have
is your
plenty
second
of plants. Verdant will be my first choice.
The first choice. So you put Cascadia in the middle.
I'll put Calico second and Cascadia last.
Cascadia last. All right. Okay. For me, it's a bit different. I would say. I think I would put Verdant last. To be honest with you.
Well, you know, everybody has an opinion.
I would put Calico second, and I would put Cascadia first. And for me, the reasoning is that, out of these 3 games, I think Cascadia is the easiest to teach to a new group of people. So it would be, if we had one game to in our collection, for me it would be Cascadia, to be honest with you, because it fills that gap of introducing to new people, but also not being complex enough, but also being puzzle enough for us. Now the other 2 are very fine games and I will play them anytime. I would never reject a game, but they're quite restrictive and they're quite puzzly. It's the same with me. Is like all these different versions of Azul, which could be another versus video potentially for the future.
They are very similar, aren't they? I was just thinking of that now and how similar they are, because Azul at the end of the day is just a puzzle with different tiles that you need to place differently.
And different complexity, right? So in Azul, for instance, I would also navigate towards the simplest one, towards the original one. Here, I would also navigate towards the simplest one. That's my reasoning.
Well, this was our versus series of the day.
Please let us know down in the comments which of the 3 you like the best.
Yes, and what's your top actually, isn't it? I think it's only fair for you guys to tell us your top as well and why.
Yeah, exactly. Why you like the one better than the other.
I hope you enjoyed our video.
Thank you so much for watching.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.